I would like to refer to the advantages of the flipped classroom that Mr. Bergman and Mr. Sams mention in their book. And these are the general advantages, basically, of the flipped classroom model. They say that, well, first of all, it speaks the language of today's students. We know that younger students mainly, right? You cannot get them off the computer or off the phone or off the tablet, etc. Then it helps busy students. Like we mentioned, this was the original motivation that they had. It helps struggling students in the sense that since there's more time to dedicate to the students while they are practicing or putting into practice the content that they have learned at home, it will help them out to get ahead with the content that they might be having problems with. Help students of all abilities to excel, because now each student individually can actually work as fast as they need or as slowly as they need as well. It allows students to pause and rewind their teacher, which was already mentioned by Mr. Sams before, which is a great feature since they can decide when they want to stop, take a break, come back to the content or to the class, etc. It increases the student-teacher interaction. Why? Because there's more available time during class time that will enable the teacher to dedicate more time to the student. It also allows teachers to know their students better for that same reason. More time represents basically that there is more spaces for any of these aspects. It increases student-student interaction as well, because now you will be able to have them in your class practicing amongst themselves actually more often, because you will not have to be so concentrated on teaching content. It allows for real differentiation, again, because of the time availability. It changes classroom management. You now have to keep in mind that you will need actually to plan ahead for all that available time that you're going to have. They mentioned that it changes the way we talk to parents, the way that the lessons are perceived, even how school works will change in the eyes of the parents. It educates parents that are more in touch with what students are actually learning at school, because they will be able to see exactly what they're being taught. Makes your class transparent, and it is a great technique for absent teachers. So all of this, like I was saying, in general terms, is what they are saying that your classroom will be benefiting from. But now let's get down to our business. So what is in it for the foreign language classrooms for us ESL teachers? Well, first of all, it increases the classroom time available for communicative practice. We know that we many times face the obstacle of time management, because the amount of time that students have in our class is so limited that it's almost impossible to be able to dedicate enough time to the main core of teaching a second language, which would be the practice. It facilitates more language learning opportunities outside the classroom. Why? Because now you can plan the class, or you can plan the content that they're going to be listening prior to when they come to class, so that they are exposed to that language in all the different ways that there are available over the internet, for example, though they are not limited only to online options. It promotes listening comprehension, again, because they will be exposed to the language. They will be listening to you just like you're listening to me right now. You can as well choose what type of listening activities you can expose them to. You can have them listen to talk shows or music, or even tales online, because again, the possibilities are limitless. It also encourages the foreign language student to take responsibility for his/her own learning, which is basic actually in the learning process, to make the student understand that it's in their best interest to learn, to actually accomplish the goals in the learning process is super important. It puts the students in contact with the goals in the learning process as well. This has to do with Firstern's mediation theory as well, and we can see that relation in the theory where it's important that the student is aware of what those goals are. Since they're going to be exposed to the content that they're going to be practicing with in class, it enables them, it gives them the tools even to go ahead and look for more, to work farther actually on those goals. It also allows the teacher to focus on the individual needs of the students. Like we mentioned before, this is very important for a language class. Why? Because we know that whereas there are students that are better at listening or writing or in a specific area, there are others that lack in other areas, and they need that reinforcement, that individual reinforcement. It allows for the students to be exposed to real-world content. Why? Because now you are not going to be the only one that they're going to be listening to in the class. You can actually take advantage of all those sources that I was mentioning before that will put the students in touch with natural sources of the language, with native speakers, with, you mention it. And ultimately, but not less important, it promotes the use of technology in the present, and we are aware of this as teachers as well. It is crucial that we know how to sit down on a computer and access your email account, that you know how to check your grades for school, that you know how to upload a document. So this again will enable the student that has been a little bit, reluctant actually to have that type of contact with technology to do it, to jump right into it. So right there, again, there's for sure a greater variety of benefits that we can get as teachers of a second language from the flipped classroom model. There is a lot more that can be said about the flipped classroom, but for the purpose of this presentation, I hope that I have given you a starting point for you to go and do your own research and perhaps even consider implementing the flipped classroom model. There are endless amounts of information about the flipped classrooms, material that other teachers have created for their flipped classrooms, specifically for ESL classrooms. So again, I encourage you to go and look at it, and perhaps, who knows, you'll be the next flip teacher. Thank you very much for watching.